Hi, it's Brian Newman with the Spotlight of Business Owner show, and today we're thrilled to have Rory Dowse. Hi, Rory. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Brian. And you?
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, so he's got a great web development company that we want you to learn about. So, Rory, before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes, absolutely. So I started building websites as a kid, messing around on a platform called Yahoo GeoCities. And from there, as I was training as a concert pianist to be a musician, I was realizing more and more that I needed to get these insights in order to really get my services out there and for people to discover them. And so whenever I finished university, that was the first consideration was how can I get my services out there? So I started building my websites using a CRM, a WordPress, Wix, that sort of thing. And from there, I realized there was a lot of limitations into those platforms, and I wasn't quite getting the discoverability that I needed. So I then learned how to code. I then went to
Oh,
Arizona
wow.
State University and learned how to code from there. And I've opened a web development company, and I'd like to help customers and businesses get more discoverability and reduce their administration, help them with their customer base.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I know there's a lot of programs out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's Wix, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's the most popular one, and which one do you usually use?
So, very popular ones tend to be WordPress. That's probably the most popular one. I actually don't use those anymore, and the reason is that they tend to get very slow, particularly as we put in more plugins and integrations to try to get them to do what we need them to do. And the issue with that is that as they start to get slower, they start to rank lower on Google. And that affects our bottom line, and it also means then that we have more administration. And so we we find ourselves spending more time working in our business rather than on our business. And so my recommendation is to approach a web developer who can build this stuff out from scratch and can optimize it so that it's getting right to the top of Google's performing very quickly.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, interesting. What are the biggest digital challenges that a lot of the business owners face today?
Yeah, so it's getting increasingly competitive to stand out in the online marketplace. And it's also getting more challenging to take care of our administrative burdens and to keep up with the technological challenges. And so the major thing that takes care of all of this is just a really well-designed website. And what that is doing is that it's increasing revenue by attracting more customers. It's reducing administration because it's taking care of a lot of those administrative tasks that we would otherwise be doing ourselves. And it's just allowing us to spend more time developing our business.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I know there's good websites, there's bad websites, so can you again like go over what impact does that have to the bottom line of a business owner's business?
Yes, absolutely. So, with that bottom line, it's really affected by the website as the first go-to point that the customer tends to have. And so, a good website is basically like a 24/7 salesperson and administrator taking care of the sales process ultimately because the website is attracting more users. It's keeping them engaged on the website for longer. It's making more sales. It is meaning that you're spending less in advertising because the website is taking care of a lot of that for you. And it's also reducing the administrative burden.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering also, there's a lot of websites that sell products. They
Mm.
actually set it up where they can collect money
Hmm.
online. Do you do that kind of thing also? I know it's a very touchy thing when you collect money. Certain parameters have to
Mm.
be set up, and can you go through that?
Yes, I absolutely offer that, and it is a really big challenge for business
Oh,
owners. So working through various banks and communicating with, do you do ACH? Do you do bill pay? Do you do Zelle? Do
yes.
you do so much to navigate with that? And yeah, it is a bit of a touchy thing. And of course, we want to, be establishing that rapport. with our customers and kind of, ideally avoiding that. So, yes, the website takes care of that as a major administrative process, meaning that it can collect payments, it can send reminders, and it could also track your income and expenses. So that's all in one place, producing reports on that. So a lot less work from the payment side.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know there's a lot of liability and risk involved, when you're
Mm.
dealing with that, but that's good to know that you do offer that. I want to I want to let our viewers know who we're talking to. So, yeah, Rory Dowse, and he's a web developer. He's been doing this for a while. Rory, what's the best way that someone that's viewing this could get in touch with you, read about you, and sign up?
Yes, thanks, Brian. So my website, Rory Dowse Dev, that's RORYDOWSEDEV, RoryDowseDev.com, gives a whole load of information on the sort of services that I offer that will help your business. So whether that's a landing page, whether that's payment integration, whether that's a web app, incorporating AI, if you can go on to that website, you get a little more information. You can also feel free to contact me on my number 480-336-0379.
Oh, good, good. So they'll be able to reach you right
Yes.
directly. Okay. Yeah. So I know there's also old and new websites around. I know some people, like even my own, has been around for at least 4 or 5 years.
Mhm.
I know from what I've been learning that websites have a tendency to become stale. I think that's the right terminology that people use. Can you elaborate on that? And, when is it good to switch and update your website?
Yeah, so if your website is more than 4 years old, that's usually a good indication that you want a new website. If you want to test some of the features for that, you can go onto a tool called Google PageSpeed Insights.com, Google PageSpeed Insights. And if you put in your website there and press test, it'll produce this report which gives a score for your website. And it tests the performance, it tests the SEO, it tests the accessibility, best practices. But even more importantly than that, it tests the speed. And if the speed is more than 2 seconds, then yeah, you're potentially losing customers and you want a new website. We want to get that down below 2 seconds.
Oh, okay. Can you repeat that website again?
Yeah, so that's Google Page Speed Insights.
Page speed? Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just curious. I know there's got to be some affordable ways that people can improve their online presence. Can you explain some of those?
Yeah, so I think a lot of small business owners tend to go to those low cost or those free tools. But of course, that does come with its challenges. We've touched on some of those things. Some of them being, of course, that whenever we're using those, we are very much building our business on somebody else's platform. And as those businesses start to gain more customers, they have more policy things that they need to integrate, which can be quite restrictive for our business. And so in some cases, some business owners that have been building on a platform for 5, 10 years might find there's certain restrictions and things that they can no longer do. So we want to be building on our own platform. The other consideration is that some of these platforms, as well as the speed considerations and the ranking considerations we've already talked about, only allow for certain types of customization. And so again, we're trying to bring in plugins which are maybe slowing things down, spending more time on administration. So we want ideally to have our own platform, and the way to do that is to approach a web developer who really understands your business, understands your needs, understands your customers' needs, and builds out a solution for you that's going to be really effective.
Also, yeah, you had mentioned plugins.
Yes.
How often are those updated? Do you do those? Is that something that you teach the user to use or to update, or how does that
Mhm.
work?
Yeah, so with CRM tools, low cost like WordPress, all those sorts of things, those integrate in with the site. I don't work on those because I work more with the code end of things. I use certain packages that just make the code a little bit easier to maintain, but that don't affect the performance of the website. Keep it ranking, keep it fast.
Oh, okay. Um, once you are done building a website, do you have like a maintenance plan that you offer? And can you explain how that works?
Yes, absolutely. So a website, it's not just a one-time investment. In order to keep it ranking, you want just those little tweaks, keeping it fresh on the design, keeping the SEO ranking highly. So after we get that website built out for you, then there's an ongoing maintenance process. That means any challenges you have, you can come to me. I can get those fixed. I'm going in to the website on a regular basis and just making sure that it's performing at its highest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so how often do you update things? Is
Yeah,
it
so
like on
all
a monthly basis or
Yeah, so all good. It just depends on the website and what it needs. If it's a design based thing, then I'll go in, once a month and just make some little tweaks. Same thing with SEO. It's one of those things where we don't want to over optimize, but we don't want to under optimize, and so yeah, we just want to get that balance.
oh, okay. And then yeah, finally I was going to ask you, what are some misconceptions about web development that you'd like to clear up?
Yeah, so one that I hear quite often is that I don't need a website because I've got word of mouth, I've got referrals, and that's the major source of income for my business. And that's awesome. But let me ask you this. So whenever somebody learns about your business, what's the first thing that they do to learn more about your business? And of course, they're going to go straight to Google and they're going to say like, "Hey, was what I heard from my friend,
Yeah.
relevant to what I need? Is this the same thing that they've been mentioning? What other sort of services does this business offer that are specific to my needs that might be different from my friend's need?" And so they're getting ideas about who you are, what your business is, and as they then approach you and contact you, then they already have certain seeds sown about questions they get asked, services you might be able to provide, and it just allows that opportunity to give them what they need to potentially upsell them on something if that's what they're actually looking for.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Rory, if you could let people know again, what's the best way to get in touch with you? That would be much appreciated.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, so rorydowsedev.com, RORYDOWSEDEV, rorydowsedev.com, or feel free to give me a call on 480-336-0379.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on here. If you're listening to this, reach out to him. He's a wealth of knowledge. And yeah, Rory, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Okay.